My name is Pauline Jones. I'm a professor in the political science department. I came to Michigan about a decade ago. I was previously a professor, an associate professor of political science at Brown University, and prior to that, an assistant professor at Yale University. I was very happy to come to the University of Michigan because of its great reputation. And I had a lot of faculty friends here on the faculty, and I wanted to collaborate with them. So since I've come to Michigan, I've gotten the opportunity to do a lot of research collaboration. I've also had the opportunity to teach a broad array of courses. And last year, for the first time, I started to teach Political Science 140, which is the introduction to comparative politics. And I fell in love with teaching the course. I really love teaching it. It is everything you want to know about comparative politics. So broad themes of political systems, political institutions, economic systems, or the political economy of development, religion and politics, so identity politics and different facets of that. We kind of take a tour around the world. So we talk about all of these themes, all of these broad theories and concepts we try to apply to an array of countries around the world. And it's very exciting, it's very fun, and the students seem to love it. Well, I've always been interested in politics. I didn't think I was going to study political science when I got to my undergraduate institution, which was the University of California, Berkeley. I was interested in linguistics because I loved learning languages. And I was interested in history because I wanted to kind of understand why we were where we are, how we got where we are. I wanted to understand the background. I wanted really that depth of knowledge. So I was originally going to be a history major with a linguistics minor, and then I fell in love with Russian language and literature, so I switched to Slavic language and literature, and I fell in love with political science because I really wanted more tools to understand not just the problems we faced, but why we faced them. I wanted to be able to analyze them. I wanted to be able to collect and analyze data. I wanted to just have a deeper understanding of the kinds of social, economic, and political problems that we faced as a country and as an international community. I think what I like most about teaching is helping students find what excites them, what interests them. One of the reasons I love teaching POLSCI 140, Intro to Comparative Politics, is because there is so much there, so much that's new to students, and I think every student in a class can find something that excites them and that interests them. I like being challenged to convey really complex ideas, complex concepts and theories and methods in political science in a way that is very accessible to all types of students. That challenge I think I really love. I also like challenging students. I like challenging them to think in different ways. I like challenging them to realize that when they process information in a scientific way, that the answers they get may not be the ones they expect. And I like to challenge them to engage one another and disagree, but do so respectfully. That's hard. That's really hard because I love the entire class. I think probably this last year, my favorite unit to teach was religion and politics. And one of the reasons is because so many students seem to think that, for example, Islam, either because of the doctrine or the culture that they ascribe to it, is incompatible with democracy. And I was able to, with real world data and examples, illustrate to students that that was actually not the case, that empirically there's nothing about Islam either as a doctrine or a culture that makes it incompatible with democratic systems. I'm not sure this is so unique, but I do like to give students choices when it comes to assignments. So I like to allow them to show the same mastery in terms of knowledge and skills, but to do it in different ways. So I allow either, for example, an in-class midterm or a research paper that they do on their own, obviously with guidance, but they do outside of class. I also allow students to choose which country or group of countries to focus on, so they can apply the concepts and theories and analysis that were the methods that we learned to a specific country that they care about or they just want to know more about. I think there are many events and phenomena that students will be able to understand with the tools of political science. I think that's the point, really, of political science and this course in particular. But there's one this semester that I am going to focus on, and that is the theme of democratic backsliding. I think what I want students to learn is why the United States is undergoing democratic backsliding and what we can do about it. And by democratic backsliding, what I mean is the purposeful dismantling of democratic norms and institutions. This is something that the US is facing, but other advanced democracies and developing democracies are facing this as well. And I want the students to learn about that in comparative perspective, but also for their own country. I mean, I think something funny happens almost every lecture because I like to bring in funny jokes or funny examples just to kind of make students, relax. And I have a pretty relaxed lecture style. I will say one of the biggest challenges I faced last year was teaching for the first time in the classroom in the round. And the classroom in the round is literally round. And so I found myself constantly pivoting so that I would not have my back too long to any group of students. And there's almost 200 students in this class. So at one point, because I was trying to be so conscientious about rotating myself around, I said to my students jokingly, if my back is to you for more than 5-10 minutes, please roll up a piece of paper and throw it at my head so that I remember and I turn. And somebody actually did it. I thought that was hilarious. So, specifically, I want them to learn about different political systems around the world, why they work the way they do, the advantages and disadvantages of different political systems, economic systems. I want them to learn how to define and measure core concepts in political science like ideology, democracy, terms we throw around all the time, but what do they actually mean? Populism, the idea of democratic backsliding. I said it and I defined it because you have to define your terms. We can all be on the same page. I also want students to be comfortable with data. I want them to analyze data. So we have some assignments where they look at a survey and they analyze the survey data. They tell me what they see and why they see it. We talk about how you go about conducting a survey. Even though students will collect data in my class, I want them to be comfortable with using the data that's been collected by others and how to use it responsibly. But I also want to emphasize that in this course, because it is an introductory course, it's a course that's going to prepare you for higher level courses in political science. So we try to introduce you to these core concepts and theories and methods so that you can develop them in these higher level courses, whether they're courses that are topical or they're country-based or they're method-based. So I want students to have the tools to analyze real-world problems, and that's what we do in political science.